good day for you all, and I hope you're all doing well. And so let's move on to some positive things. And it was, I thought this was pretty good. This is from Kenneth. And it says, "Hello, I wish Dr. Morris was available to the general public." I am. There are a few topics that had kept me from becoming a raw foodist. First, some renowned experts out there look way older than people the same age on a SAD, Sad American Diet. Take, for example, Dr. Graham or Mr. Kovinkas. Some alcoholics look better than they do. Actually, I think there is only one raw foodist with long-term exposure to this diet who achieved amazing results, Mrs. Annette Larkins. If all of you essentially eat raw vegetables, fruits, and seeds, why is there such a big difference on results? And second, it does not look like this diet will promote longevity. The Blue Zones book does not make any reference to raw foodists among the longest-lived groups on Earth. With due respect, where are the youthful-looking relics on the raw food movement? Third, credibility of some raw experts is questionable. The credibility. Several renowned authors in the movement had been law-suited for malpractice and lost his. Several renowned authors in the movement had been law-suited. I don't know what that means, or sued for malpractice, and lost his or their license. I'm anxious to know your opinions on these matters. Thank you, Kenneth. You know, it's a good questions. I noticed the same thing, actually, coming along here, especially with Victor in his Survival into the 21st Century. I did notice that. I noticed he's wrinkled skins. I noticed he looked very malabsorbed. I also, I've seen some good people. Look at Paul Bragg. He was a pretty strong guy, but he really had a big pop belly. Bigger than a raw foodist would have, definitely. Same with me. I'm not 100% raw right now. The one I think that looked the best, in my opinion, and another driving force to fruitarianism was, of course, Arnold Ehret. That guy showed his due, and he looked it, and I just really respected that guy a lot. And I have to say that I've seen some really beautiful people come in here, beautiful skin, just beautiful people, but inside, under that skin, kidney failure, adrenal failure, nerve problems. It's on and on and on. Some of the most beautiful people you see and think have serious health issues. So there is a little bit of that, and I understand that total question there, and I agree with that. I'll say this. I talk about raw foods and push raw foods, and I've always told you guys, if you can do better than me and stay raw foods as long as you can, do it. Because the chances are in long-term use of raw foods, I don't think the consciousness of man is there. And this place isn't a heaven. You're not here long, and basically you're going through a lot of experiences. And so these experiences tug on people up and down. You also must understand genetics. Everyone is different genetically. You have some people that are chronic bowels, very malabsorbed. They're going to look good until they start what? Detoxing. And then you start seeing just what they are really like. Matter of fact, detoxification isn't, I don't know what people think about it, and raw foods. You could not, in any stretch of the imagination, make any claim that cooked food is better than raw, that meat is good for you, or dairy products are good for you. If you made those claims, it is an unjust, unfactual, and an ignorant claim, because none of those things are even close to the truth. You have to look at the nature on this planet to understand that man is the only wacko here that kills himself like nobody's business, kills his same kind, the human mind is so immature that just look around at the narcissism everywhere. Look at Obama. Look at this guy is going to use gas on his people in Syria. Just take a look around. These dictators, these egomaniacs, and they're all over the place. And it shows the immaturity of mind and the lack of understanding in these beings that they are cut from the same fiber everybody else is. They're killing themselves And of course, very few people like that would even begin to understand karma, or what Jesus said, you reap what you sow. However, with that said, everybody, Kenneth, is different at every level, I will tell you that, and everybody's going through different experiences. I think the most important thing, I can tell you that I've got many of my clients so beautiful and so way out there, it's unreal, and I've done it more on fruit than vegetables. I tell you this, I do not believe that man is a vegetable eater. I think it's a form of balance in terms of vibration in respect to where one is and where one can go in consciousness. And so I'll give you a little history from me. And I thought the same thing. Even years ago when I started raw, I was looking at Victor then. I don't know Dr. Graham at all, so I have no clue in that comment. So it's just enough to say, even me, if I hadn't poisoned myself, I'd still have my hair color. But I've always fought with my teeth. I've always fought lymphatic problems too, you know. And I didn't have the herbs. And I think that's another important thing here, and why I use herbs. Because the difference of what you can achieve in body beauty, but also in detoxification, and the depth that we have to go now, is vital to that. Victor and these guys did not get into that level of detoxification. Matter of fact, they were more dietary related. That's why these are people who are vegetable people. And if you want to look at the vegetable people, they don't look much healthier than someone else. Get on the fruitarian levels. I am not a fruitarian that long. Had I been, you'd have probably seen another Arnold Ehret. And Arnold Ehret was the one person that really showed what long-term fruitarian lives are. I don't know about this Blue Zone book bullcrap or whatever. I can only tell you that I get my own China study here because I have just hundreds of clients in each country that's on this planet almost. We even have a few people in China. So we have a lot of clients everywhere. And our healthiest people that we see, and the long-lived, is always the islanders. Always the islanders. Why? Especially those older islanders that was raised exclusively on fruit. And I've told you about a couple, 96-year-old female, 102-year-old man. These people I see all the time in here from the islands, and these guys look beautiful. They don't have high problems like the high cancer risks and things like this. So I don't know what the blue zone is or anything like that, but all I can tell you is that man is so advanced in his. Look, there's a lot of beautiful people out there, Kenneth. There really is. Not inside, not genetically, not with blood pressures, not with the kidneys, not with neurologicals. You know, open the skin and look within. And so, yeah, I admit, though, that, and especially when you start on these programs, your body's going to detox. Well, nobody looks beautiful during detox. Give me a break. As you move on, though, you keep going into these higher levels, you would have to take a look at our clients that have gotten themselves way up there, and beauty occurs. Skin wrinkles, tone and tighten. When I saw Victor, I said, man, you know, I don't know him personally either, but I thought, well, there's a para-thyroid. There's someone that's not utilizing calcium. There's someone, and that's what we look at. We look at individual weaknesses. I think what you see also, Kenneth, is that the health people are probably your sicker people. Why? Because that was our driving force to become healthy. You know, it's the same thing in creation here. If nothing's driving you, you tend to follow that mental record that was cut in your world by your family, your state, your government, your church or synagogue or whatever. That's what you echo. Unless you're hurting enough, and this is where the positive side of the negative forces come in, is that when you hurt enough, you generally then make a change. You ever have a mate that you just wish they would change and just, you know, come up maybe a little bit with your thinking with the raw or whatever, and you keep trying and trying and trying? You know what? You can't make people change, and I quit trying. I don't care anymore, because it's up to each and every one of us to awaken and become more of our God selves. And then the play in creation is changed for you. You start viewing the play a lot differently, and you can have more fun, keep your joy, and keep your security in yourself. And you don't live in ignorance. You don't become one of the herd. Because right now, there's so many herd homo sapiens out there that echo things that are just not even real. From propaganda that's put out by health authorities like the American Dietetics Association, Health Authority, World Health Organization. These people are the worst of the worst. They know the least. They're the least scientific. And then we have the allopathic crap, which is mostly lies, and that's bull crap. Now, except for good surgeons. Keep that in mind. But we can go down that line and show you what some good surgeons have done to people in the past. We can show you that side too. So there's so much there. And I can just say, Kenneth does bring up a good point though. And that is true. A lot of the people that are in the health fields are in there for their own health. And I've always said, no matter if you go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, remember they're in the field because of themselves. We get a lot of those folks in here, and guess what? Okay, so it's the same thing. You're always in the field you want to be in for yourself first. You see that all the time, so just remember that. So that's the reason you see that. But a lot of beautiful people you think you see on the outside is not so beautiful on the inside. And we see this in clinics here all the time. And so I hope that answers your question. I'll say this. I'll give you a little more insight to my journey here. You know, I was able to maintain a high fruitarian level for probably 3 years or so. And then I opened up health food stores. I was trying to make a living because besides being a raw foodist or whatever, you got to make a living. Well, about the end of my journey on the fruitarian level, I started having tremendous amount of experiences. I hooked up with Paul Twitchell. He started taking me out of my body. All the other masters he ran with started working with me, and I started having tremendous journeys into the God worlds. Just, I can't even begin to tell you some of them. Cosmic consciousness is one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. And you all will experience that, and that's already in you. And that is where you are lifted into the pure mind that I talk about. That is called cosmic consciousness, or another word in Christianity was Christ consciousness. That is when you see that all life is one. Everything you feel, everything you see, every individual you see, everything you see in that realm is you. It's amazing, that experience. The difference between that experience and the first states of actual God consciousness is that there's still you and the other individual. You and the drama. There's still that thin separation that makes everything individual in creation. You still have that thin coat of ego or self, the individualized self. When you leave that area, the hardest thing for souls to achieve is to move from cosmic consciousness to God consciousness, the first step called self-realization, the first step. And you have to literally let go of yourself. You have to let go, or the masters will shake you like a tree until you let go of yourself. You have to finally just let go of everything, including yourself. No ego, no nothing. You can't go as an individual because you're absorbing into the allness, the oneness, the God of all things. And so it's an incredible experience. Well, then when I was doing all that, I couldn't handle the energy. There's another little issue here called balance. And when you're looking at bringing in a total raw food diet on top of the consciousness of man and the generations man has been eating wrong, particularly in the northern climates, you've got an X amount of time, probably meaning decades, to turn that around to where man could sustain a raw food diet constantly. Man could not handle the energy. I couldn't, because the mind and the ego are too out of balance in the human state. They're too immature. So people get ratted out when you give too much energy to them. So this is the problem. You have to maintain a balance. Well, what happened to me too is I had to come down because I kind of let health go, because what's more exciting? Raw foods, God consciousness. Tough choice? Not for me. I went to God consciousness. Better. That's your survival forever. So that was the key for me. So I had to find a balance to deal with that amount of energy, and I had to deal with that. And my body would cramp when I would give a lecture, because it would just come through me like oceans, waves of energy. And my body would just go, oh, just cramp. I had to go out and eat. Matter of fact, I can't remember one time, I think a bunch of us went to Hojo's and got ice cream, as bad as that sounds, to come down, because it was too dramatic on us. So I talk about balance a lot here, and there's, from my experience and then all my clients through the years, I do recognize the need for balance. Ask Dan McDonald. He will also talk to you about balance. Real important. It's fun to get way out there. It really is. And if you can maintain that, maybe this Janet lady, whoever Annette lady did. I don't know. Some people can. I couldn't. I got into the power of God too much. And then I opened up health food stores. Health food stores. Well, we had raw milk yogurts. We had raw milk. Well, it's raw. And we were into the raw. Raw milk yogurts, raw milk, raw goat's milk ice cream, nuts. They're good for you. Whole grains, just put them on a grain. I had a grain mill. I ground grain for my customers, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm doing so good. And yeah, and I started hurting more. My body hurting me bad, real bad. And I started to realize, and this is something, babe, you're going to have to be careful with coming down off of 460 some days of juice fasting. You can't come down too quick, and this is the problem. And so I hurt a lot. And then, of course, my health food stores went under because not a lot of people back in the early 70s understood health too much. So I'm young anyway, and I didn't know how to manage things probably. And I always was interested in new products. Here, I can have something and offer you something even better. Look at this neat thing they got. Well, that takes you away from things. And so life just keeps going on and deeper into that. Finally, I set up my practice, and it would be days and days before I would have one client. I lived in my practice. I was starving. So I had to go out and get a job and work to support myself. And then you just get further involved in things. And then your mates, I've talked about this before. Is your mate on board? Does your mate follow what you do? Or are they antagonistic to where you are? All these things really affect people, Kenneth, and all of you. That's why I say you always go to yourself and you become as strong as possible. And what I try to help all of you is the pitfalls of what life is about at this level. In the spiritual worlds and in health, which is also a part of that, of course. So, yes, I agree. But just keep in mind that the health people are generally the sickest in their search for health. They're looking for it. And so you have to cut them some slack that way. But I tell you, there's a big difference between vegetarianism and fruitarianism in the health. Night and day. And if you're not looking good in health, you're not digging in. You're not getting into your lymph system. You're not regenerating your body. You're not regenerating the endocrine glands. And so if you're looking bad like that, then you need to get deeper into the world of detoxification, which is just what we teach. So that's what it's about, detoxification. How deep can we go? How much can we regenerate? That sort of thing. And it isn't just about raw anymore. It's also about botanicals, because when you start working with others, you'll be keenly aware of what we're all up against and the tremendous need of the masses out there for health and succor. They're fearful, they're afraid, they're unhealthy, they're full of cancers, full of pains, and you can argue about diets all along. I could care less whether a Sproutatarian diet of Victor's good. Who cares? I remember there was some symposium or something. I think David Wolf was there, Victor was there, some other people, and they were arguing which diet's the best. Who friggin' cares? The most important thing is, though, detoxification, and how do you get yourself well, and how do you get someone else well? What you choose or someone else chooses to live a lifestyle after that, be my guest. Don't judge, though, Kenneth, because judgment will put you in a bad position. That's why when I find myself judging, I go, oh, I'm sorry. And, I give my little ego spots, and then I go home and slap myself upside the head and go, whoa, I got caught up or something. So this is the problem, is we always have to be a watcher at the gate, a watcher at the doorway of the ego and the mind. Because if you let them control, we start getting into discussions like this stuff. But still, it's a good comment that you did there. I do appreciate that, because I've always wanted to talk about that to the YouTubers, and that you just have to realize you've got a gold nugget in your hand, and how do you use that gold nugget of the raw foods and herbs. You know, when I had a clinic in Portugal, in Lisbon, Lisbon has a yearly symposium, health symposium, where they bring all these top practitioners in the world. I represented the United States there for years. And we had all the top, the reason I never remember that is because I don't agree with it. But it's the, oh, man, it's just out my mind. But it's a diet where you can't have anything raw. Things have to be cooked to break down the fibers. But anyway, those guys looked really macrobiotics. A macrobiotic diet. Oh, wow, that's really good, right? People have cured themselves of cancer with it, believe it or not. But if you want health and vitality, that isn't it. I disagree with everything they say. And there was a top microbiology people in the world there giving talks. And you know what? They looked like you said, Ken, they looked gray, like death, because they weren't eating life. There's no argument on this planet that can tell you that cooking food makes it better nutritionally. That's stupid. Or that we need to do that. Because nowhere on this planet do you see that, only in man's mind. You don't see that in the animal kingdom. You only see it in man. Now, who's the sickest on the planet, the animals or man? So take a look at these common sense things and carry them on. So I appreciate that thought, Kenneth. Yeah, it wasn't a bad thought at all. I understand where you're at on that. I thought about that myself. Arnold Ehret always was a fan because of, I thought he represented the fruitarian level just like he should have. I've seen the breatharian lady from Australia. Now she claims that she's a breatharian, but that she eats intuitively. For me, a breatharian doesn't eat anything except the atmospheric hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, and then also the God force inside. All these are the supports of life. You've got to be up there with consciousness to do that. And you can't say I'm a breatharian and at the same time eat when you feel like intuitively, because that would not be a breatharian. And whether that's important, I was trying that. That's another level of thinking. So some of these levels are not that important in that they make for good discussion. But what's important on this channel is wellness and how you take a body that is wrinkled or a body that has problems and pain or a body that's full of cancer. How do you take that body from that point, crippled up with polio or whatever, MS? How do you take that body and bring it back to Wellville? And if you'll notice the chiropractor's wife on here, that was done with fruits, berries, and melons. Took an advanced MS case from a chair to walking. And we do that with just about every MS case I've ever worked on. Fruits, berries, and melons. Let me see. And when we give them vegetables, they stop getting better. I've had so many years of working on people that you can't give me an argument that's going to turn down what I'm teaching you, because I've looked at it all. They're pretty close. Plus, remember this one? I love this one. This is from the American Cancer Society, 1986. Remember, American Cancer Society, all raw. Well, wait a minute. This is from Lindsay. My daughter, who is 6, has kidney issues from looking at her eyes. Boy, I love you guys. That's what it's all about. Learning the eyes. And I'm going to show you Babe's eyes here. I'm going to show you. She gave me permission to show you her eyes. I'm going to show you, because someone asked me to show you some befores and afters. So when Drew and I sit down and do the eyes, I'm going to show you Babe's eyes, because her genetic lesions are shrinking. And I'll show you another case, which is a magician's wife. And I'll show you what she's done in her lymph system in 2 years. It's just fascinating to see the differences. And I just got tons of befores and afters, but I don't keep them. I'm so busy, charts go back into files. But if we were someday to tear all that apart, you guys will be amazing to do that. I'm going to try to pull a bunch of them at our level 2 class to show you that eyes change very much. and you would want them to change. And I love this mother because she's now looking at her daughter's eyes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about with this site, is giving you guys the knowledge and awareness to deal with your kids and yourselves and to get yourselves well. We can argue over what's proper to live on all your life. I don't care. All these people have bragged. Look at N.W. Walker. There's confusion of how long he lived, but he lived to 107. He was Dr. Jensen's personal friend. But Doc said he didn't see him in the last 10, because Dr. Jensen and I also talked about this same subject matter, Kenneth. And so, I don't know what to say about that. Some of us healers go down the tubes too. It's just life here on this friggin' planet. Be one thing in this country if we had been able to walk over like Yaz in Thailand and pick us up a big seeded watermelon, or we could just walk over on a tree and pick up some fresh tree ripe mangoes. That'd be different. But we're in the States. And I just had some Canadians in here. They have the same problem, except worse. So, her little daughter, she saw kidney weakness in her daughter's eyes. She also wets her bed. See, so you seeing this already. She wets her bed and has had eczema since a baby. My analysis, based on what I have learned from you, is her kidney and bladder. You're right on. And I'm going to say at 6, her adrenals are down 2. So you might want to work with her in her adrenal glands. Now, if she's still wetting the bed, it definitely could be kidneys and bladder. But you also have to suspect pituitary. Pituitary controls that. And so if you have eczema on the face, then you have a real suspicion that there is some pituitary problems with her. You might get with Jennifer, honey, and talk about dosages and stuff, and a little more about looking at your daughter and a little more symptoms and stuff, because this is the time to correct these. At 6, not at 26. I have taken bread out of her diet. Yeah, increased fruit in her lunchbox, berries, strawberries, etc. No milk, but have done that before finding you. No more cheese or butter. Smart mother here. I love mothers like this. At the moment, she has organic brown rice cakes and honey in her lunchbox and had no problem with it. As I develop more raw food recipes, I will move away from the rice cakes. Smart mom. Smart mom. Same problem there we have in all of us. The movement to a completely raw food diet. That's changing the record. It's changing the imprints. Generally, you need a motivating factor to motivate you into this. Most of the people you'll notice that come to us is hurting. Motivating factor. Those people that don't know yet they have problems, they go along, they look good, they're eating a sad American diet, they seem to be doing pretty good. Some of the strong constitution people like that, they can live quite old and still eat junk. I mean, look at George Burns. Of course, look at John Wayne. I have been able to eliminate all cooked food most of the time, melons and fruit, out of my diet for breakfast and lunch. My daughter and I have a spirulina smoothie every morning with bananas, apples, oranges, and I use coconut water as the liquid. She loves it, and she calls it alien blood. That's cute. But you know what? That's exactly, you're doing, this is a good mother. We are still eating stir-fried veggies or salads for dinner and skinned chicken. I want to get rid of this for good, but really having problems with sweet cravings at 3 p.m. and salty cravings in the evening. Well, the salty cravings in the evening time, darkness settles in. This is when uncertainty and aloneness can set in, because most people that are not, that's just a period of time. That's when the families get together, the men comes in from the fields, so to speak, that sort of thing. So that's when your adrenals kind of go down, and that's why the salt craving. Sugar, you know what that is, fungal problems, but that's natural. My daughter, she wants a lolly sweet all the time, but I tell her to have an apple or a banana. Any suggestions for her? There are natural lollies out there. We sell them here, natural lollies for the kids. It's all fruit, organic fruit juice and stuff. My partner will do anything as long as it stops his breakouts. His urine doesn't even have the sediment in it. So need to clean him up ASAP. You betcha, honey. Good mom, sweetheart. Good mom. This is from Parker. Dr. Morse, do you have any before and after pictures of the orange-yellow ring around the pupil caused by sulfur going away after cleaning the stomach and bowel? I have some, Parker, but I tell you, It's a bitch. Pardon my French. It is a booger bear. So some people have got a lot of it out. I don't know if I have some that got 100% out or not. I'm going to show you an eye that has more than sulfur, and you'll be very impressed. But that's 2 years raw and more fruitarian than anything just to get where she got. So I'll definitely show you that. Definitely. Can you do a video about moles? Why are they there and where do they get cancers? Well, I'm always getting the moles out of the... Oh, the moles on the skin. Well, this is part of the fungal family, and they grow on people that have adrenal gland weaknesses. Why? Correct. Sugar metabolism problems. Remember, fungus is moles, fungus, candida, yeast, things like this. This particular family is involved in the breakdown of sugars. Remember I gave you that example, putting a piece of bread, a piece of cheese, and a handful of grapes on the counter, kitchen counter, and see which one grows mold first? Mold. Well, you'll see the cheese and the bread, not the grapes. Now, why not the grapes? Well, because the grapes aren't dead yet. As the grapes start to die, they start what process? Fermentation. Who assists in that process? Ha, there you go. Fungus. Absolutely. And so when you don't metabolize sugars properly in your diet, you have to have somebody helping because fermentation starts to settle in. Just like not digesting your foods, what happens? Fermentation and putrefaction settle in. So you have to have somebody here to help you. If things just don't happen in the atmosphere without anything, there's always a chemistry or a microbe involved in the processes to keep nature balanced. And you have to respect those guys because God put it all together. The problem with allopathy is, they're the problem. You know, and that's a big duh. The use of antibiotics has hurt man so bad it's not even funny. If you looked at it, the use of antibiotics always sets you up for the cancers. Always. Now, if you take like Parasite M for a while, these moles will start falling off. Because you're doing an internal kill. But if you got moles growing on you, you got a lot of candida or fungus inside of you. And again, going back to the adrenals, when you're having sugar metabolism problems, that gives you hypo or hyperglycemia. In other words, hypoglycemia or type 2. Now, this is just sugar metabolism. These aren't diseases. These are just body not metabolizing sugars because of low cortisol, low steroids. All right? You fix that, and guess what happens? You start metabolizing your sugars. These aren't diseases. These are function problems by cells. Where did this function problem come from, though? How did my adrenal gland get weak like that? And that's what we've been talking about. What is the lymph system? What is acids? Understand that whole process of how things break down. Because we're in the process of building up. If you don't understand the process of breaking down, why would you understand the process of building up? You wouldn't. That's why we're laying this all out for you guys, so you'll really see why you're suffering so much, and we put the tools in your hand. We're not disease treaters. That's the worst thing you could do. Those that treat diseases never win, always fail, and die early. You just can't do that. There's no such thing as diseases in the first place. This is all an illusionary hype. But it makes money. But anyway, imagine the American Dietetics Association knowledge of telling everybody grains are healthy. Now what do you have with a grain? You have starch, polysaccharides. So if you're having trouble with monosaccharides, fructose, glucose, galactose, guess what trouble you're going to have with polysaccharides? Your rices and your breads, things like that, your grains. You're going to have much more problems with those. Well, what if you're not metabolizing that level of sugar? Not only does your blood sugar go up, but guess what else has to come in and help you with that? Fungus. And you'll see moles growing all over you. This is Andy Stewart. Thanks, Andy, for your stuff. You are a true... Oh, thanks, man. He wants to become a licensed naturopath. Is there a certain brand of adrenal gland you recommend? You know what? They're the New Zealand brands. You might get a hold of Brenda if you want to find out. I don't know their website. I don't deal with the products here at all. You're doing good. He purchased bones, adrenal glands, Hill T, lymph nodes too. Be careful with the lymph nodes too. Hope it's liquid. Lymphatic system too. Endocrine glands. Hope it was, you got. Okay, but you got adrenals and endocrine glands. You only really need one because you got the adrenal power. Now, if this is an adrenal glandular, I could understand that. Is there anything else I need to heal properly? Well, I'd have to see your case, but I highly recommend this protocol for you guys. That's when you want to kick it up another notch. You want to do, I would do, a stomach and bowel formula to keep cleaning and restoring health of the gut. I would also recommend Lymphatic 1 capsules to help start cleaning the gut more aggressively, lymphatically, and hopefully reaching through that wall, like what we use GI Broom for. Reach through that wall, because where's most of our problems? Not just on the wall, in the wall. Well, what's in the wall? The cells and the lymph system. And the lymph system is why you get hardened bowels, why you get constipation, that and an autonomic nerve weakness coming from what? Yes, the adrenal glands. So this is real important, you know, that you look at this. I would do a kidney capsule, and then I would take a lymphatic liquid, a kidney liquid, what else did you got here? Do the endocrine glands for a while, then go to the adrenal glands if you want. Bones, make sure your parathyroid is working good, and you got a real good healer right there. In time, as you circle through that, try the immune formula, then try the blood formula. Clean the blood, just clean yourself. These formulas are cleaning and healing and everything else. They love you. So, good job though, Andy. He's the CEO of National Nutrition Wholesalers. So get with Brenda on that. She'd be glad to help you there. Now, Andy also, he's a 39-year-old male that has been sick for over 9 years. Now, I thought I addressed this, Andy. Maybe this has been here for a while. In 2003, I came down with a flu-like illness and had never been the same. Well, you probably had a big adrenal dump. He's with the National Guard, infantry soldier, absolutely. He's an elite athlete. Boy, sounds like a really, really good dude here. I believe all of the Army vaccines. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Well, look at that all, Andy. That's neurotoxins. So you were shoved, and I've always said this with the military, we're shoved with so much neurotoxicity, it's unbelievable. I'm amazed that we can even go to battle after that. But neurotoxicity, look at what's going on now with the guys from the war. Not only do we have the trauma of multiple tours, which is unheard of. That just freaks me out that our military would allow multiple tours for young people. That goes to show you that your own colonels and commanders don't give a crap, because they know what multiple tours does to the psyche of people. That's insane. And so all these young guys are killing themselves and girls. It just makes me sick to my stomach. You know, God needs to come wipe some butts. So his symptoms are low back pain. Well, that's your kidneys, man. Of course, your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, so you're losing your kidneys. Night sweats. Okay, so that's more sign of losing kidneys. Muscle pain, that's your lymph system in the muscles. You're active, you're a strong dude, but you're losing your kidneys, so you're not filtering. There's a case where I'm telling you that when you exercise and you don't move lymph, you create more acidosis and therefore more pain and breakdown if you're not filtering. If you don't filter, you've got to think about that. And I can tell you, when you're detoxifying, don't go be working out, because it's in my face again. And sometime I'll show you with a couple cases I'm working with, 2 breast cancer cases, and I didn't realize this one girl is out working her butt off, and of course now it's getting worse because she's working so hard and moving around so much that she's not resting. So not only are the adrenals focused on epinephrine and norepinephrine, nothing's working. So this is problematic. So you need to take some time off, Andy, and take it for yourself. Muscle twitching. Now this is what happens as you lose the nervous system. Then anytime you weaken the nervous system, and you can try, I can put you on a machine and pull your nerve energy out, and you'll start convulsing. The strength in the nervous system means peace and calm. A weakened nervous system, jittery, and restless legs, and sciatic. Of course, there are other reasons for that, and that's lower back and kidney. A bone loss. Well, what would make bone loss? Acids. What are these acids? The same thing that's causing muscle pain? Absolutely here, guys. See that? Hot flashes, got the thyroid involved here too, don't we? Body aches, muscle aches, fatigue, brain fog. This is all lymph, adrenals, kidneys, and a lymph system not going too well, and unrefreshed sleep. Well, we might be up there in the pineal gland too, my friend. Brain fog. Your lymph sounds like it's backed up head to toe there. Andy, you got to get your butt cleaned out here. He has osteoporosis and hypercoagulation. Well, you're too acidic. You're just too friggin' acidic. That's all this is, acidosis on acidosis on acidosis. Well, what system does acids do? What system in your body deals with that? Not the blood, is it? You wouldn't be writing this to me right now. It's the lymph system. And you got to deal with this, Andy, and get it on your kidneys. You've been on all these things, and my guess, you've been a little bit of a protein popper. And you can say goodbye to kidneys when you're a protein popper. I'm just telling you, these are facts, not fictions. People can think what they want, but in actual practice and in studies, it shows you. My IgG is positive for Epstein-Barr virus. That's easy to get out of there, though. I spent the majority of my day in bed now. Look at this. He's such a good guy. I have my own nutritional company, and I run it on a laptop. Look at this guy. Poor guy. I have stopped eating meat. Thank you. I eat predominantly raw vegan now. I bought a juice machine. Thank you, man. You're on your way. Now you're on your way to what the business you set up are. Now you're on your way to Wellville, and you can help others get there. I also do a coffee enema every day. Stimulation, hyper stimulation. It's like hypercoagulation. No, no, no. Because then the crash will come, my friend, and you want to get away from coffee enemas. You don't want to use stimulants. And I've done one liver flush, but only got out 4 stones. Well, that's good. I would just detox my liver, and all the stones will come out. Is it good to heal from osteoporosis? Let's see. I am drinking this juice combination every day. Is it good to heal osteoporosis? Carrot, apple, pear, ginger, cucumber, kale, beet, celery, and dandelion. What first do you think, guys, you would have to do before you can see bone regeneration? There's one thing first, then there's 2. And then you carry on. The first thing is you have to stop why you're losing your bones, right? And which system are we referring to? Oh, boy, we're back to that lymph system. That guy has nothing to say but lymph systems. Absolutely. Because there's only 2 in there. Take your pick. And if you target blood, you're wrong. So you got lymph systems. And you got to get a hold of this lymph system, my friend, and get that moving. Real important. Get the acids out to quit drawing calcium out of you. Quit meat so you'll quit losing vascular calcium. So that's good. So you really want to get that lymph system moving. Get your kidneys, get your adrenals back up. Start moving that lymph. Hey, you're involved way up here lymphatically, dude. So you want to really clean all that out of yourself and all your dark greens. I'd pop up on the seafoods. Either nori, a kelp is one of my favorites in terms because it has the highest iodine and the highest calcium of all the seaweeds, even over dulse. But eating your seaweeds would be good. Fixing a parathyroid gland, it would be essential. But you have to first, doesn't it make sense? You would have to first remove why you're losing bone. All right, Andy. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope this does you well, and I hope I'm not too late with you. Now, this is from a lady. I don't know if I can read this, read her name or anything, but this lady's son had a spinal tap in April, and it did not show any fungus in his spine. I think it showed a little protein. My question, that's acid. My question is, if he has candida, yeast overgrowth, I would think it would have come up on his spinal tap. Let's hope not. And spinal tapping, God, I tell you, when medical doctors go into the spine, I just cringe. Go back to that tainted dosage of, what is it, methyl acetate or something like that? You know, it wasn't the fungus, it was a methyl acetate. You can't inject acids into the spine and expect to have a healing of some sort. I mean, this is insanity with these people. I don't know when our laws are going to start coming down on these medical people for being not only ignorant, but mad scientists on beautiful humans and don't care. That's as though I feel sorry for medical doctors and these people that are doing this in one way. Karma. Bad karma. So, you know, what you do to others, you get done to yourself. So this just keeps creation moving, though. Just keep that in mind, that karma is essential. You reap what you sow. You've got to create your future. So that's how you create your future. That's why I teach you not to create, how to stop this madness of creation. Now, creation is fun for those that are unaware, but not so much fun for those that become aware, because there's so many levels that are so much grander, and there's so much more love amongst the beings. Not at this level. He does have much sulfur, according to his eye now, due to taking, well, he has a lot of fungus in his body. Doesn't have to be in spinal fluid. Holy crap. There is protection there. We're trying to understand what happened to him last January. Shannon will show more of his case. Yeah, you'll have to show me more of his case. I'll get with Shannon. She was in the other day with her new little baby. More babies around here now than you can shake a stick at. Now, this is from Mark and Tasha. And it says, Robert, you have spoken about leaving the thyroid alone in a goiter and hyperthyroid conditions. I am wondering if you should also leave the parathyroid alone. I like you. You guys are coming up with some good questions. Is a thought I've had too. I have actually used the parathyroid and not seen a lot of problems with that. So I have done that in cases of goiter. And I've not seen the growth of the goiter from that. But if you want to hold off, I can understand why. Or could you take a glandular to get your calcium utilization up while you still have goiter hypercondition? I would definitely probably take a parathyroid glandular and do a low dosage, maybe one in the morning, one in the evening or something, and just pop that up a little bit. I think you'd be safe with doing that, especially if you had a serious case in front of you where you had serious calcium-related issues, heavy depressions, bone loss, fractures not healing, tissue not healing, all kinds of stuff like that. Absolutely. Also, I have tried everything from licorice parsley to adrenal glandulars, and it only makes me extremely weak and tired. Oh, God. With this in mind, I have stopped up to the pituitary. I tell you what, I have to bow to you guys. You guys are just incredible on the YouTube and the Facebook people. You guys are incredible. Just remember, this is all about learning. And you're learning on the internet. And you're also learning and helping people, those people that get out of control, they get into control. This is all about one big family dealing with the trials and tribulations, if you will, of man. I mean, when you're working with man's health issues, you're working right in with the psychic. And you saw that earlier in the case that we were talking about. A poor lady that has cancer in multiple places, particularly right in the rectum. And, you know, she's on her last leg, so she came down. We have some beautiful souls that set you up. I went over to visit her when she came, and they had grapes this big. I'm going, God, I don't even eat that good. So I don't know where she found them. But all I can say is that, you know, you do your best. But if you're in pain for too long, you're too weirded out, you can really weird out. So you got to grab a hold of your essence and not weird out, because you'll get unbalanced. And then you make it hard on the practitioner that's just trying to help you. And that's what our problem is. We have so many people like that who just come down on us in their process of getting well, because they hurt, they don't understand, they don't do this or that, and that's why this site, very important for people to get up and learn on these videos as much as you can, because we're just down-to-earth people trying to help people be well. I stand for health and truth. That's it. If you don't want to know truth, don't ask me, because I'm going to put it out there. because we have to stop playing this hide-and-go-seek about truth. Governments are loving the hide-and-go-seek. Unreal. We can't do it as a civilization anymore. We're supposed to be, what do they call that? Civilized. That's it. I remember on Outlaw Josie Wells, that Indian chief, they were civilized. Yeah. With this in mind, I hopped up to the pituitary, and I think that's a good take. I think it's a real good take. And started taking a pituitary gland once in a day. It helps on hopes of unlocking and supporting them adrenals of mine. I think you guys are right on the line with that. I would. If you can't take an adrenal formula, then you have to leave them alone. They don't want to be bothered right now, and you just have to go in and detoxify deeper. If you can't use any of the adrenal formulas, try the endocrine gland formula. If that doesn't help, then by all means, step back away from it and just let detox do it. Sometimes, guys, you can't even do herbs. Sometimes you just have to detox. Sometimes you can't do fruit. No shame. I'm just a guy that likes to kick it up to the another notch, get it done. It's like in any covert action. You go in, you get it done, you get out. And it's just what you have to do. You have to go in, you do tear it up. If you can make it a lifestyle and you carry it, great. If you can carry 80%, I'm happy. If you can carry 75%, I'm happy. I'm happy if you do 50-50. Because we know we're making a difference. I'm not hard on any one of you guys. If you go below about 75-25, you can forget detox. And you're only going to detox for a short period of time. And the same thing if you go up 100%. If you go up 100% raw, you're going to detox really good for a while. And this is the problem with Babe. She's detoxing with fruits and vegetable matter. Her body is so chemically sensitive, she can't handle all the fruits yet. She's trying to get there. When she hits the fruits, in 457 days or 60 days on fruit is a whole different story than 460-some days on fruits and vegetables. And I'm telling you, those of you that have already made that jump, the big word is wow. Oh yeah, this is Parker. Yeah, this is I am. That should be I am. There was a famous artist, and I didn't know growing up, and we lived up a little lane where there's only a few houses on top of a hill over our town, and everybody above us was artists. Matter of fact, the house I was raised in was an art studio. And my grandparents took my mom, me, and my sister and put us in that studio and fixed it up. And so I was raised in an art community, Brown County, Indiana, Nashville, Indiana, which is an art community. A lot of artists. The whole town is like a little Gatlinburg. So you have a lot of, now you got all kinds of pottery makers, jewelry makers. A lot of my friends in high school became jewelry makers and stuff. And so, cute little town, a lot of fun there. But the artist up above me was very spiritual, and he was painting this beautiful, he wanted to paint the ultimate picture of Christ. And I learned about him. I knew him growing up, but I learned about, he had died, long died, and I somehow came in contact with his wife. One day I was up there from Florida talking to her and didn't know they were out-of-body travelers. And they were into the I am faith. You know, the I am that I am. Let me ask you this. Is it I think, therefore I am? Or is it I am, therefore I think? Let me know when you find that out. Great work on, oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. It's Katia. Great work on your videos. Super. Oh, thanks. And thank goodness. Oh, you like simplicity? Thank you. Thank you very much. If you guys like intellectualism, I apologize. Someday I'll try to sweep the cobwebs out and get deeper into that side for you. But I'd prefer to leave a sleeping giant alone. I want out of here. This planet is a hard rock to live on. The truth lies in simplicity. You betcha, sweetheart. Those who do not know the truth or are in denial create the elaborate terminology to name the things they do not know about. And this is absolutely true. And this is the problem. We don't need to have words this long because, to tell you the truth, I don't like cramming my mind. If you ask me, do I want to cram my mind on academics or God? Well, the choice is difficult, but I think I'm going to take that which is all, that which gives you the grandest experience of life, and the mind only builds narcissism. You got to be careful. Mind limits your experience and doesn't teach you anything about who you are. It's just what you're using. You need to know more about your divinity and the greatness of yourself. And that's what this is about. It's important as getting well and healthy. It isn't all about raw foods and fasting and all this. It's also about you and who you are and the beauty of your gorgeous beingness. Yes, I'm talking about you and you and you and every one of you. And just realize that. The beauty is the fact that you exist and that you're having fun in creation. Because when you leave, there's so many worlds to play in. But there's still, people talk about traveling out of body, and there's been this, matter of fact, Paul Twitchell called his science back the study of bilocation. I think it was St. Peter, or there was a lot of Catholic saints. There was a lot of spiritual giants that have been seen in two places at the same time. The stories are riddled with that kind of beauty. And don't you think that's more awesome than the little crappy worlds we live in? We go pay our taxes when we're overtaxing. We go this and we listen to the government smack us on our butt when we maybe drive a mile over too much and this and this and this. Where's the beauty and love and joy of life here on this planet? And it's gotten so constipated, and I think man is so sick, he takes the world down with him. So we got to get well. I have a question. I have been taking your herbs and eating raw 80%, no dairy, no meat. I recently noticed when brushing my hair that more hair comes out than normal. Not worried, just wanted to know whether it's caused by body cleansing or there's another issue here. If there are herbs you recommend taking, please do so. Okay, so one of two things. When you're detoxing, you might not be getting up here lymphatically yet. Remember, when you start detoxing, you're not going to jump up here. You've got almost miles of lymph before you get up here, and you got to go through all the lymph nodes. So you got to get your kidneys filtering first, then everything closer to the kidneys starts cleaning up, and then it starts spreading out and everything starts cleaning. So you could be in the middle of a grand detox and you're working the program right to the T, but you're still not getting to that. And I talk about this a lot about tumors. Don't get upset if you've got someone with a tumor on the neck and they have liver cancer and you can clean the liver cancer out, but you can't get to this because it takes more time the further away from the kidneys you go. So you have to remember that. Give yourself time. The only other time you would lose hair is if it's already dying. Then your body is just like any other cell. When you have weak cells, out it goes. What does nature do with weaknesses? Out. And you have to understand that in detox too. Weaknesses, out you go. In replace of what? The new, the vigorous. Absolutely. So hang in there. Upper circulation would be my take on that one. Thank you so much. Oh, you asked me, Parker, about asparagus root. We're struggling with our herb company right now, guys. We're struggling to get a good herb company back, and we've got one, but it is a nightmare what we're going through. I can't even describe it to you. It's a night friggin' mare just to give you the herbs we got. It's just a nightmare. Asparagus root coming in my new formulas. Should have been out. Frustrating. But I'll let you know, and I keep working with it, but I haven't got it in yet. Oh, this is Mark again. Hey, cool dudes. Thank you so much. Let me see here. Having a pretty good healing crisis at the time. Oh, look at this. I have been down enough dead end roads to know in my short time with your program that things are moving good. Yeah, and just remember, when you reach plateaus, take a look at your diet. It's not the herbs. Take a look at your diet. Because the diet has to be more toward fruits. Now look at this. A fruit diet is not a fasting diet, actually. I say fast on grapes and stuff, and really that's not true. Eating a fruit diet is your daily nectar, is your food source. Fasting is really a water experience. or a dry experience. So when we say we're going on a tropical diet, and this is what I call what I do is a tropical diet. And a tropical diet is a healthy diet for man because man is a frugivore. You can't deny it. Take a look at the way man's built. Take a look at all this. And we did that video on you. I'm sorry, the guy that talked about adaptation. And I apologize to get a little ranky there. I apologize for that. Sometimes a heavy day and crap like that comes through. I understand adaptation quite well. It doesn't build health. So, when you feel like you've plateaued, guys, go deeper. And if the fruits ever plateau you, oh my God, you got to do some water fasting. All right, I was having a conversation with some friend about eating meat involving the suffering of animals. They bring up that plants are alive too, and that when I eat plants, they are suffering. I was curious on your take on this. Well, the beauty of Indian people, and most of the Indians in India, especially some of the religions there. Christianity's kind of taken a little hold in some places, but, they even honor the vegetables. Now, the average Indian doesn't get into that, but there are some faiths there that don't allow for you to even, eat plants, because that's why the fruitarian regimen is so much better if you're into that thinking. And that is that plants give you the gift of the fruit. And this is for you to eat. Don't eat me, because I can make more fruit for you. Trees are better than plants anyway. Why tear the earth open when a tree will do us so much good work? And I love trees, but I love my plants. I feel the same way, but realize nothing dies. Nothing dies. Suffering, I hate suffering. That's not what this is about. But we all are going to pass. And everybody loves to give themselves a why they were created. A plant loves you to love it and use it for what it's for. That's divinity. But you got to look behind the physical manifestation of something. And that's what we're talking about spiritually here. If you look at a plant, you're looking at its physical structure. Look beyond that. If you want to learn how to see auras and you see the auric fields, the energetics of something, kick back away. Remember I said those beautiful paintings they have where they have all these little dots, and if you step back away and you don't focus, you step back and unfocus, you'll start to see all the little figures they have in that. We focus too much. When you focus, you can't see. Focus is an intellectual thing. And what they don't understand is it makes you dumber. You've got to kick back where you can see the whole of things. And then you'll start to see plants and animals in a different light. So it's a big spiritual thing. But I don't care. I advocate fruitarian living anyway. But if you have a hard time with suffering, eat it quick. No, I'm kidding. This is from Tammy. Dr. Morris, thank you so much for all the time, love, and healing. Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate the comments. I really do. None of your good comments ever go. Matter of fact, all your lovely comments, guys, support us here because we're just, we're a crew that's ratted out. There's so many suffering people, and everybody's giving it their 100% out there. They're even trying, and they don't even know what they're talking about, but we just had to hire people to get in here and help us, and so they're learning. So it's all about us becoming a good family, strong, bonded strong. We can have differences of opinion, I don't care, but we need to bond strong against what's coming down on us. And wait till you see what that is. Lord Healer Run. My entire household has gone to a species-appropriate diet. I like Tammy already. The 2 dogs no longer get commercial grain-fed dog food. Thank you. Notice how Purina and everybody's yanking the grains out. Wait, I thought grains were healthy for you. Why are we now taking grains out? That's what I say. 1 minute something's really good for you, and the next minute, not so much. Remember when soy was so good for you? Not so much, right? Well, my dad was an old farmer guy, or grandfather, and he never liked soy. All the old farmers thought it was crap beans. Probably why Monsanto loved to play with them. And then suddenly they became the wonder food of all things, and health food stores bought into that. And they are now on completely raw meat, bone, slightly steamed ground fruits, veggies, and whole. Well, then your dog is going to do well. All I can tell you, dogs do so much. You're doing just the right thing. Now, notice, Dogs, you can't give them all protein. They'll lose their stools. They'll rectally bleed. You'll see what high protein does. We started feeding our dog these natural chicken chews that are just dehydrated chicken, no antibiotics, no hormones, and it was on the news. Rectal bleeding. Someone lost their dog with that. Well, our dog was getting rectal bleeding. And I'm going, what? Well, is it hemorrhoids? That's too much protein for a dog. Their coats are shiny, their teeth are white, and their energy levels are amazing. You guys are so good. I love you guys. I love this. Doesn't it feel good to see your dogs doing well, your family doing well, your babies doing well? It's sad when we're struggling so much. My husband and I no longer eat what the dogs eat now, and have gone to our own species-appropriate diet. Tammy, I like your mind. Really good. Since starting a diet of fruits and veggies, we are now making amazing progress toward healing all my husband's medical issues. After my husband's second heart attack and fourth stent, I asked the doctor why the Heart Healthy American Heart Association diet was faithfully followed wasn't working. Oh, I love Tammy. Yeah, explain that, Doc. Yeah. The doc didn't seem to have an answer. No kidding. Way beyond his expertise. Not even his expertise. Further, when I asked him how we could stop this from happening again, he simply looked at me with a blank stare and told us we might as well get used to the fact that my husband is not going to get any better, and you didn't say there, but he's going to have open heart. No cure for heart disease. I just love that word disease. When they use the word disease, I want to puke. After hours and hours of study, I finally determined the only way I was going to keep my husband alive was to put him in a vegan diet. No meat, no dairy, no oil. When I talked to the doctor about that, he said most people find that to be way too extreme. Too extreme? That's not extreme as we like it, is it? He wants extreme? Come visit our site. You mean to tell me cutting the front off of your chest opening, taking a vein out of your leg, stopping your heart is not too extreme? I know. I remember there was, I worked with cardiologists all the time for a number of years. And this cardiologist once said, he was a friend of mine, and he said, you know, You're a radical dude. I said, I am, huh? He said, yeah. He said, that raw food diet, that's radical. I said, radical? I said, which is more radical? To eat some fruits, berries, and melons that'll clean your lymph system and open up your artery pathways and get more blood flow? Or is it more radical to go on a slab, have your chest cut open, and your veins, like you said, ripped out of your leg, put in? And he just looked with a blank stare on his face. And to go do it all over again. The problem with that one, Tammy, and also all of you guys, it isn't just the coronary arteries. The carotids, the cerebral arteries, all these others are getting blocked simultaneously. Remember, acids are systemic, lymph is systemic, and this is a lymph problem. Even though it encroaches on closing up the blood vessels, it is a lymph problem. And that's a problem. Remember the commercials for Lipitor, Plavix, and now Crestor. Look at where they put the little lump of cholesterol. Not on the artery wall. Where? In is a good word. I won't go any further than that. Tammy gets it. Not only did my husband constantly have angina, but his liver had developed a grapefruit-sized cyst on it. And that's what I'm talking about. When you have a lymph problem in the heart, guess where else you have a lymph problem? All over the friggin' place. That's what makes this so very important. You know, I make light of it here, but the importance of this for people like your husband and everything, because this poor guy could go down with a stroke, forget the heart. So this is something this guy really needs to back away from. And his liver tests were not good. They admitted it was likely the result of all the prescription medications he takes, but said it would be too risky to take him off of them. They took a large syringe and drained the cyst once, but it came, of course it come right back. It's a storage bin. They said the damage to his liver was, nobody listens to me out there. There. Let me see. They said the damage to his liver was the lesser of the two evils and would have to do surgery on that cyst and remove a large portion of his liver if it got too much bigger. Ooh, that's going to hurt. Ooh, let's look back here a minute. He developed... Drew, yes. What are we going on? It's still recording. What's with that nurse that was coming in?
Let me find out.
Is she here?
Let me find out.
Okay, thanks. Mm-hmm. This poor cat, let's see. He developed, get this, vertigo, depression, and slowly his mind got foggier and foggier. Now, bar the chemical medications that he's on, where's depression come from? Definitely para-thyroid gland. How about vertigo? Cerebellum.
She just wants to know if she can connect with you for about 15 minutes.
On phone?
Yeah, and know when you're ready.
Oh, she's not here physically.
No.
I thought she was driving down from Tampa.
Yeah, just by phone. She can't make it.
Okay. Yeah, but let me finish up this and then I'll talk with her. She's the one with the cancer, right?
Yeah.
She's got to get her butt down here, or at least 15 minutes.
Say hello to me.
I don't think 15 minutes.
Say hello to everybody for me.
Hello! Drew says hello. All right. I am so hopeful that his next ultrasound in his liver will show the cyst has reduced in size, as that will be the next hurdle we must cross. What herbal formulas would you recommend we start on first that might help his liver cyst shrink? I'm going to go back up here, though. Vertigo, cerebellum. What's causing all this problem? What would be causing the need for stents? What could be causing the cysts? What would be causing the vertigo? Where are we? Oh, Mike, and there's that guy again that is always talking about the lymphatic system. What other system would you like to blame? All right, a disease caused that cyst. Got liver disease. Oh, man. So, honey, you... don't think about the liver right now. Think about the lymph right now. You can use the liver gallbladder formula, but I probably wouldn't. We were talking earlier about when you have goiters, you don't touch the thyroid. Same thing here. I would really move on to where his big problem is. Kidney, adrenals, and honk on his lymph system. I gave you a protocol a little while earlier. You want to jump on it. You want to jump on that. One capsule and one liquid of the lymphatics of the kidneys and get honking. Lymph node 2 liquid and lymphatic 1 capsules. 2 kidney formulas. Really honk on this, sweetheart, and get your husband opened up. I'll do the cayenne garlic combination and dilate those vasculars and keep blood moving. I'd also do circulation lower. Keep these moving. If you can afford it, do the upper 2 and get blood moving up in the cerebellum and in the brain. Get those kidneys filtering. Oh, there's no stopping this. That's key focus. Go after the GI tract. Use the GI broom. Start opening up the trunk of the tree so the branches of the liver and the pancreas can drain with it. Very important, sweetheart. You can get your husband out of this, but you got to do it NOW. And I'd be jumping on a high fruit diet at least through the day and a salad at night then. He's had 3 months on fruits and vegetables. My husband completely off of all blood pressure, heart, and cholesterol-lowering medications. He said he has never felt better. He has all his energy back and can walk for miles without the usual angina. Is that not cool? I love stories like this because it proves our point here, guys. It's proving our point. It works every time anyway. You know, there are some people that their mind won't let things work. Well, you got to put your mind over there in the corner for a little while and go with your intuition, go with your heart, and dig in and have some fun. Make life fun. Make detox fun. It wasn't until I watched all your videos and read your book did I begin to understand why my husband was getting better. Yeah, good. I'm so hopeful that his next ultrasound is liver. Well, it will. If not, kick up the detox even deeper, dear. But it'll pull the cysts off the liver, clean the liver, but it'll clean the lymph system everywhere and the arteries out of his head, carotids, and coronaries, and everywhere else as far as that's concerned. And thank you so much. A choice to stop his medication to do what they call is a crazy extreme. I don't call this case crazy extreme. I call this crazy truth. Truth is hard for some people to take. And that is the why of all this. Why do we have, and you were good, Tammy, why? Why does he keep getting included? What causes it? The whys always did confuse the medical doctors. You know, I always enjoyed the whys, because if you don't have the whys, you don't know how the what fors. Now, this is vertical sleep. I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. I've been on only fruit. You can handle fruit? I've been only on fruit and herbs for 11 months. 3 weeks ago, I ended a 2-week water fast. Well, that's a long time, man. How'd you do? I was slowly adding fruits, then salads, and then after a week and one day, I ate a lot of nuts. The following day, I woke up with intense vertigo and weird mental distortions, such as feeling like half my body was in the past and the other half was in the future. That sucks. That's all back here, bro. Oh, that's really taking you half out of your body, man. I detoxed harder and ate less to see if it would go away. Bad idea. My body started shutting down and going cold, and my mind was probably hallucinating. Oh, my God. You know, vertical sleep, you got to try to call in here sometime and let me work with you going through these things. Remember earlier on in our videos, way back when, I was telling you to stay off of all protein, including nuts. Some of you guys thought I was nuts. But here's a good example with vertical sleep, and you'll see it with other people. Got to stay away from the proteins for a while and let your body get well. Well, now wait a minute. If I have to stay off proteins to get my body well, what does that say about proteins? I don't know. I can't figure it out. See what I'm talking about. Oh, he was taken to the hospital. Oh, my God. I had an intense spiritual experience through the whole thing that changed my life. I was taken to the hospital because I was unresponsive. Holy crap. Vertical sleep, you were having an out-of-body travel, man. Spiritually, I felt like God was in control of my body. Yeah, I've had some extreme experiences out of the body like that. But full conscious, full awake, and not around here at all. Wow! I've never been very religious, so this was a major surprise to me. You might not have been religious, my friend, but you are not realizing how spiritual you are. That's what I'm telling you. By the time you walk to this site, you guys are ready to open up your awareness. You're beginning to wake up. This is just a little knock on your door. Vertical sleep, same way. We're so much more about the worlds that exist beyond this one as we are about health. You know, and you can take me for whatever you want. If you just want our health, fine. I understand that with religious people, it's okay. But it shouldn't matter what religion you're in. You want to know the truth of how creation is put together. You want to know the truth. Yes, we have different names. But I remember remember I said One Giant Leap? If you ever get a chance to find that video, get that video. The music is incredible, but the spiritual insights are great. You have Dennis Hopper. You have all kinds of people on there. The head of the REM. You just have a lot of people on there, beautiful spiritual gurus and religious people from around the world. And it's just a really good video. And what was I going to tell you about that video, though? Well, that just went out the door. But it's a good video for understanding spirituality because each one has a deeper insight. And this one lady on there said that, you know, when you call Jesus, and when you call Buddha, and when you call Muhammad, and when you call all these spiritual beings and giants and God, you're calling God. We have to, as a race, understand that we're all one. And it doesn't matter what name you give God. It's still God you're seeking. And when you have to understand that you're so much a part of God, you can't not be. You can't be separate. God can't exist outside of itself. So it's just opening up to that reality. Instead of killing each other, we need to embrace each other. But this level is a little too low for that right now. But with the help of all you guys, we could turn this around tremendously. So vertical sleep. One of the problems here, and I talked about that earlier on this video. This is going to be a long video. I apologize to you guys. But early on, we're talking about balance. And this is with vertical sleep. His spiritual energies are flowing. He doesn't realize it yet. Maybe he does now. And he's on these high-level diets. it can very unbalance you. You can put yourself in two worlds. And that's what happened to me. I never knew where I was. So I had spiritual beings talking to me all through the day. I spent 10 days one time in what I call the City of Light. We call it the Soul Plane. I call it the City of Light. And even though there was major beings all in this city, no one would talk. I was there walking around for 10 days. I was talking to you and practicing. This was way back. Working with people. And at the same time, I was walking around in this city. I was ripped in two places, 10 days. And in that, I realized the now and how that is. And so, it's amazing. It's beyond words. It's amazing. We know nothing down here of those higher worlds. Only you and your memories, or you're going back to these worlds that exist within you, can you remember. Remember the little girl asking the baby, can you tell me about God again? I'm about to forget. We all have to start remembering our higher selves and put creation out there. Creation is okay for those that want to play the games. Go ahead and play your games. It's okay. Later, I saw that their tests actually showed iron and B12 deficiency and read this could possibly cause what I experienced. Not really. Not B12. No, you were having a spiritual experience, my friend, also with that. Anyway, they gave him a CT scan. Well, there was a bunch of x-rays and a sad diet and psychology meds that sent me home after I came back. I didn't remember much of anything that happened, but the harder I try to remember, the more little memories pop up. Yeah, well, this is the problem. They would love to shut down your memories of this, my friend. Right now, I am transforming from the sad diet back into detox again. I gained 20 pounds in 1 week. Holy crap! I was real skinny. You know what? Go more balanced through this vertical sleep. Go a little more balanced. Because I know that you're right on the edge there. And you just go a little more balanced, my friend. Even if you have to have 1 or 2 days of dead animal tissue or something, go a little more balanced, or beans or something. Go a little more balanced down that walk. Keep yourself a little grounded so you can keep this body here and at the same time keep yourself spiritually going. Sometimes it can get so bad. I've had clients that were so far out there that I had to stop traveling out of body. Stop your spirituality for a minute and get your physical body in shape or you're going to lose it. And there's some people that get so unbalanced they can't stay in their body anymore at all. The God worlds, the higher God worlds are so beautiful and full of light. Here, the biggest thing I learned was balance. Learning to fold them and when to hold them. I love your vertical sleep. That's exactly what you have to do. I'm kind of lost and confused about what happened. Don't get lost and confused, man. Just don't worry about it and just keep going. Maybe LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs I took while young got released. Now, that is true. You could have had a little of that. A little LSD would give you that. LSD is more in the moment. LSD brings you more into the moment, outside of time. That's why it was such a cool drug for Timothy Leary, because even though they were talking altered states, it was actually bringing you into the now. I did window pane years ago, which is LSD, and it just an intense sense of the nowness. A mushroom, psychedelic mushrooms will do the same thing to you. My body couldn't handle it. It was ripping me, but I learned a lot. It helped me to learn what the now was and how and what I needed to be and feel like in the now. So it was a good experience at that point. That was way back. Way back. Maybe my body and mind was shutting down due to the malnutrition. You weren't malnutrition. If you're pouring in all the fruits and all the greens, it isn't malnutrition. If you have malabsorption, now we might be talking. But and it's just you've been living on stimulants. But you're pouring in nutrition. It isn't malnutrition. And iron, go to your adrenal glands, by the way, for that. You know, I probably have covered enough. You guys are probably going to get mad that the video is so long now. Here's one. I got crazy over these, so forgive me. This is important. This is Drum 2013. So you know. My aunt has a broken hip. What can be done to heal it? Is the bones formula sufficient, and how long would it take? Is there a risk for her life? I read somewhere there is a risk of blood clots being formed and risk of stroke. Well, from their treatment, but a broken hip. All right. The first thing you know that the reason the hip broke could have been an accident, but to tell you the truth, the hip probably already was a little on its way. So what you want to do, again, you know that's a kidney problem, the legs, hips, knees, joints, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you want to get her kidneys and her adrenals going. Get her lymph system moving. That's going to go to causative factors. Why? It's going to stop any removal of calcium out of that hip. You want to clean the back, the hips, the legs, because that'll stop the removal of calcium, making it easier to fracture. Also, parathyroid. You want to make sure her parathyroid is up. And even if it's not, get that Calma Plus. It's got CalMag and it's got parathyroid. I would probably go after that for a couple months. Dulse, kelp. Supplement with kelp or God's blend or superfood blend. Tons of calcium, but in the whole complex of its family. Very important. Alkalinity is key to structural rebuilding. Acids tear down structure. Remember that. So your aunt's just too acidic, and you just got to get in, move the lymph system, get the adrenals, get the causative factors addressed, and then at the same time go in and up the intake of, say, calcium, iodine-related foods, which is seaweeds, and that'll really help accelerate the bones forming a good take. But doing all these other things will help, and also the parathyroid gland. This is a case where you could do rich green drinks, alfalfa and all this, really powered up with the greens. That would be faster. Still have your fruits to help move the lymph, though. And also the fruits will help to keep the blood thin, not clotting, blah, 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 blah. That's what breaks up blood clots, fruits. All the flavonoids. At this point, we don't know how serious it is. She is already bedridden because of muscular dystrophy. Well, then you know it's all about lymph, don't you? It's all about lymph and acids. And get her out of this MD. I mean, don't let your aunt sit there with MD. Get her out of it. It doesn't hurt her. She is in the mind. It doesn't hurt. Hospital of a blocked colon. And both x-ray of a CT scan was done for this, which showed the fractured hip. How is this possible? She's in the hospital because of a blocked colon, and both x-ray and CT scan were done with this, which showed the fractured hip. Well, you could have a fractured hip. You could have a fracture and not know it. Of course, you could have neuropathy in that area and not even know it. You don't know it unless there's nerve issues around that. So she's got some serious problems. You've got to work on this lady's nervous system, too. That's I would use the brain and nerve, too. So really go after this, Drum, and take care of your aunt. You can bring her back out of that whole thing, by the way. Your aunt doesn't have to live with MD or any of that stuff, okay? So I better go before you guys kill me, and I hope you like this video. If not, I apologize. It's been a little radical up and down there, but I love you all. I want you to know that, and we're working as a team, and you've got a lot of spiritual beings helping you, even Hilaron. So just know that you're well looked after, and that you just keep going down this road. Remember balance, remember love, remember put that ego in the corner, keep that mind under control, and enjoy the ecstasy of the now and the moment, and go smell some flowers. Love you all.